Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a super hot Ask Engineer. That's right, hot air, hot. We'll be hot airing later. We're also personally, me and Mr. Lady Ada,
I'm warm.
super hot.
I'm warm. My temperature's usually
You are actually warmer than normal,
yeah.
and I'm cold as ice. Anyways, we've got a super sick, hot show for you tonight. I'm Miss Lady Ada.
Yeah. All right.
I'm the engineer. With me is Mr. Lady Ada on camera control.
I press all the buttons.
We had such exciting news and like 5,000 new products and live demos. It's going to be great. Tell us on tonight's show.
Okie dokie. Here we go. On tonight's show, the code is Gakken. 10% off everything in the Adafruit store, including all the Gakken kits that we just added. This is a big deal. Get on it. Show and tell. Packed house. 9 people. Amazing projects. We'll go over what was shared and shown and more. Back in the mailbag, we'll stop by. We got some great tutorials from the Adafruit Learning System. We'll travel back in time and talk about some historic events in the world of making and more. Some news in the world of wearables, everything that's fit to wear and blink. Some amazing, weird news in the world of 3D printing. We'll go over that. Raspberry Pi news. And then, of course, what many of you are here for, new products, all sorts of crazy and cool stuff from the brain of Lady Ada. We're going to answer your questions. We'll have a trivia question. We give a prize. All that and more on Ask an Engineer.
This week's prize is going to be extra desirable, so I suggest sticking around.
We're going to give away a Raspberry Pi Rev C.
No, yeah, BeagleBone Black.
Yeah. I'm not supposed to talk about the Raspberry Pi Rev C.
Yeah.
BeagleBone Black, Rev C.
Arduino.
Arduino tray.
No, we have one left, and it's for the special winner. So if you want one of these BeagleBone Black Rev Cs, stick around.
Yeah. Okay, let's pay some bills first.
Okay.
Gakken's the code, 10% off in the Adafruit store, all the way up until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Get on it. You can do it now. We're going to talk about some stuff for a couple seconds, and that helps fund Adafruit. Open source hardware company, started almost 10 years ago.
Yeah. I keep saying 7, but it's actually been 9. I don't know why I keep saying 7.
Yeah, almost 10 years ago. And we're here because of everybody out there.
That's right.
Next up, Bitcoin. That's right, we still take Bitcoin. Crazy Bitcoin.
When BitPay takes Dogcoin, we'll probably take Dogcoin. I will, whatever BitPay will process, I'll take it. Right now they only do Bitcoin though. Yeah,
so we take Bitcoin. It's been working out well for us. There are lots of people are into it. Lots of people built hardware. We made a Raspberry Pi miner, and we showed how to mine coins. And then some people actually mine coins and then spent them on the Adafruit site. The payment processor that we use is BitPay, and they just announced they got a $30 million round of funding, and that's incredible. So they're kind of here to say now it might be the clear winner. We made a choice a long time ago which payment processor to use when we're going to process Bitcoin. We chose them, and then a couple other maker companies also did it. So I think it's kind of working out. If you like Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, we have that. And also one of the specials that's still going on for the month of May, $200 or more for UPS ground in the continental U.S. and $100 or more Perma-Proto half-size breadboard. This is very popular.
That's Perma-Proto.
Yeah.
Bigger than Phil.
Yeah, it's a giant breadboard. It's actually
enormous.
The size of a house.
Actually, I wonder what the biggest PCB I can get made at my PCB house is. Probably like a foot by 2 foot or something.
Yeah. Could that fit in the pick and place?
The pick and place can fit. Yeah, it can fit like really. It can fit almost like 2 foot by 2 foot PCBs.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you'd have to remove the nozzle, but I think you can do it.
All right. Maybe we can make a gigantic NeoPixel sheet.
Like 5,000 NeoPixels. Okay. I'll go on it.
That'd be neat.
Yeah.
All right. Next up. Show and Tell. Show and Tell is heating up. For the folks who don't know about the Show and Tell, it's every single week, Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is the world's biggest show and tell live on the internet every week. The projects are incredible.
Every week is better than the last.
Yeah.
This week was really amazing. I mean, I love every week, but this week
I'll say
was
this.
pretty cool.
When we moved the show from Saturday nights to Wednesday, a lot of people said there's no way there's going to be as many people. Turns out there's more people on Wednesday nights that are able to show and share their projects. Not that we have anything against Saturdays, or maybe we won't move it Monday.
I personally like having my weekend back.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What was on the Show and Tell, Lady Anna?
Okay, I'll talk about
do
show
some
and tell.
stuff over
You
here.
do some stuff.
Yeah.
You do some housekeeping.
Yeah.
Noah and Pedro, our Florida Adafruit contingent, they do 3D Thursdays and the 3D printing projects on the Adafruit blog. They showed up their Mini POW 4 armband. It takes a Mini POW 4 kit. If you've built a Mini POW 4, it's a little Precision Vision color kit. But maybe you don't want to hold it and maybe throw it by accident. So they made an armband, so as you run, you can like POW as you POW, I guess. And it's going to be tomorrow's project. They made it with NinjaFlex. They also had some 3D printing tips, which will probably also be blogged tomorrow about wide painter's tape. C. Scott came back. He has shown off projects previously. This time he's showing off his own DIY, all analog, OBX synth. This is an amazing synth. I was actually like, this PCB was hardcore. And he had some analog envelope generators. He actually made analog versions of an envelope generator that was no longer made. It was like one of these custom chips from the 80s. This synth is used a lot in, like he said, Rush. It has a very 80s sound, like Rush. And what else did he say used it? Like a lot of soundtracks, I feel like.
Well, it also sounded a little bit like the Blade Runner-y kind of.
It had a little bit of that sci-fi, Tron, Blade Runner 80s feel. Really, really awesome sounding synth. Yeah, and he designed his own envelope generator for the board. It's just interesting because like, a lot of times you want to build these old synths and they're like thousands of dollars. So like there's a lot of DIY, but you can't get some of the chips, so you have to DIY it. But he managed to do it, and he has it all like a panel mount with a MIDI voice MIDI CV in. Vincent had shown off his wrist mount like 5-minute buzzer, like a little like buzzer that goes off every 5 minutes so he can keep track of time or not keep track of time. But now he's showing off his DIY Delta Castle 3D printer. It's a Delta robot that 3D prints. It's like so elegant. I love the look of the Delta robots. Not that I don't like the XYZ standard kind of style either, but like I really think that the Deltas look so cool. They just look so like hardcore.
I think now that 3D printers seem normal, seeing this other approach is interesting. Even the DLP printers that pull out of the goo. That's nice.
Also like
that's nice.
Futuristic. Vincent, sorry. Wait, I have something super confusing. Oh, sorry. Vincent. Sorry, I wrote Vincent twice. Sorry, that was Vincent with the little wrist mount thing. Jan and Lee came by with a little LiPo booster board based on the TPS 61230, and he's using it for all of his really hardcore projects that often play Super Mario Brothers theme song. He's really into like also synthesize music and video games. There's a cute little LiPo booster board. Carmelito came in with a Yun project. He is plant sitting a plant for a friend, and the friend wants him to give her updates about his plant. So he used a Yun with a photocell and a NeoPixel light, and I think some other sensors, like a vibration sensor, and then maybe a soil sensor, moisture sensor, and a camera to take photos of this plant and tweet about the plant, so his house sit plant owner can check in on this plant while he's taking care of it. This is pretty intense. Most people don't keep track of their kids that much. So this plant must be a very beloved plant.
Plant is a new house pet. I see people in New York City, they walk their plants around in little strollers.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, little cage stroller.
Yeah.
I love plants. Okay, David built, he has Tron parties where I guess they watch Tron.
Tronathon.
Tronathons.
Tronathon.
Tronathons. And there's only 2 of them, so I guess they just watch, then they watch some other movies as well that are Tron-like. And he built a pulsing LED equalizer in a Tron disc-like format, and it has like LEDs, and it looked like a teensy, and it pulses LEDs.
It was neat because the bass and treble were parts of the circle.
Yeah, it was like clever. The bass at the bottom, mid-range, and then treble, so he used frequency analyzing chips to pulse the LEDs in time with the music. So I don't know. I guess it's great for your Tron party. Lucas has an amazing, crazy LED top hat that's driven with a TNC3 and 700 plus NeoPixel LED strips in a top hat. We actually had a hat project recently. He got a top hat that was perfectly cylindrical, which makes it a lot easier. Because that's one of the problems with many hats is they're not perfectly cylindrical, so it's hard to get the LEDs to line up. And he showed off this cool LED top hat, which will blind everyone and also probably get him a lot of attention at music festivals. And finally, Tony Nicola came in with an OpenWRT Young project. He's taking advantage of the built-in OpenWRT web console that graphs like the load and temperature and processor speed and whatever. But instead, he's using it. He kind of adjusted it so he could graph Arduino sensors as well. So it's kind of like a nice web console that you can also use to keep track of your Arduino.
Okay. All right, Lady Ada. All participants on the show and tell get an as seen on the show and tell sticker. I don't know if you knew that, but they do.
They do.
All they have to do is email support@adafruit.com after they show their project. There's no limit to the number of stickers you can get. You know what's going to happen one day? Someone's going to make a project out of all the stickers they got from showing the other projects. So. That can be cool. How do people get on the show and tell, though?
Getting on the show and tell is super easy. Go to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/+Adafruit. Look for the post where we say, hey, comment here to get added to the show and tell circle. We have to put you in a circle so that you can get invited to the show and tell. And then every single week, Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you will get an invite to join the many attractive and hot and fun and creative and talented people.
Just because you have a hot air gun, what is the thing? If you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail?
Once you have a hot air station,
and everything looks like it should be heated?
Everything just needs to be reworked.
Really?
Yeah.
Rework everything?
Rework the world.
Okay. Be calm and rework.
Yeah,
right.
Stay calm and,
okay.
and bathe with hot air. And then you'll get invited to the show and tell, and then you can show off your project and show off your project in any state. You can even show it multiple times if you want.
Yep. Okay. Next
Everyone
up.
loves show and tell.
Packed Mailbag. Packet stops by every week, delivers mail to us. Hey, Packet.
Hey. Hey.
So this week's, we actually got a physical letter, and we had to scan it in. So this is this week's letter. This is from a fellow, and he says, I just wanted to thank you for the tremendous support that you and your firm have provided me in the past few weeks. I haven't been this excited by a project in years. I feel like I'm a little kid with a whole set of new toy trucks. Here's a picture of what I built. It's a digital clock. Uses your 8x8 color display to keep track of the seconds. You may recognize the pattern from your website. So he goes on and tells us about the rest of the project. But this is someone who was doing engineering a long time ago, and they're revisiting their hobby thanks to the tutorials and things that you and your firm have provided.
Right. The firm of Adafruit and Adafruit.
Yeah. We, Solderman, and Howe.
I actually really like how there's a lot of people who are engineers or electricians or electronics people in the 50s and 60s, and they're actually getting back into doing electronics after maybe taking a break. And we hear from a lot of like retired electronics geeks, like people who worked for like HP or even like Apple or Microsoft or whatever. I don't even know. Like,
it's crazy that those companies have been around long enough to retire. You can retire from an Apple or a Microsoft now. They're older companies.
Yeah, I mean, like some people. Well, HP especially is definitely. We meet a lot of like retired HP people, or Bose, or all the electronic companies, and they're like, hey, I'm in retirement, but like I really like building electronics. So they're like getting into Raspberry Pi and like software-defined radio.
I think it's fun to rediscover a hobby. It's like kind of learning a language and then like not using it and then maybe going to that place.
Then retiring,
that's cool. So it's neat. Electronics is one of those hobbies that can always give back to you.
Yes.
I think it's a worthwhile.
It's a language that you can speak forever.
Yeah. Next up. So we have some big news, Lady Ada.
Yeah.
This happened today.
What?
We hit 500,000 orders.
Wow.
So let me break it down here, what that means. So 500,000 orders. For the folks.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so it was a big milestone. Today at 4:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we had 500,000 orders. Scott from Michigan ordered shield stacking headers for Arduino, miniature Wi-Fi module for Raspberry Pi and more, and an Adafruit CC3000 Wi-Fi shield. And I called him up and I said, hey, orders on us. What do you think? And he's like, wow, this is
It was his first order?
I don't think it was his first order, but
that's cool. So
he responded via email and he's like, oh, this is great. He said, I wish I had $5,000 to buy more stuff. So maybe one day we could do something like that. back in December of 2013, we hit 400,000 orders.
So that was 5 months ago?
Yeah, and then before that was November 25th. Oh no, sorry, June of 2013. We hit 300,000 orders.
Okay.
And then November.
So it took 6 months and then 5 months.
Yeah, and then before that, November 25th of 2012, we hit 200,000 orders.
Okay.
And August of 2011, we hit 100,000 orders. The first order since we kind of started counting in this way was October 12th, 2005, and it was for a Zoxbox.
That was not the first order
No, I know.
from Adafruit. We had 100 pre-orders before the store existed. So the first few orders actually were paper orders. I have the paper receipts. I just printed them out. I just said like invoice number like 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's not the first order, but it's the first order on the Adafruit shop.
Yeah. And so
that's when I'm like, those people who have original Adafruit receipts, they might be worth something one day.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was a customer before I met you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you still ordered from the store, right?
Yeah, I did.
Or did you order from PayPal?
I have 2 orders. I had one through PayPal, and then I also had one through the cart.
Okay.
Yeah, but I already knew you after that.
Okay.
So, that's cool.
Wow.
So the other thing is, if you look at the trajectory, so we're about 20,000 orders plus a month, but that number is going up. And so if the same rate goes, it'd be like maybe another 2, it'd be like 2 years or less.
Yeah.
For the million.
2 years, okay.
Yeah, so we'll see how things go. We both made some guesses on when we'd hit 500,000. We were both pretty close.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I said today.
You said today, tonight, in a couple hours, and I thought actually it would be tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we had a larger than expected day.
Yeah.
Ago,
so thank you, everybody out there, because it's this is all you guys out there. And
yeah, every single order it's amazing. Like we have fulfilled, shipped every order, 500,000. Amazing.
Yeah, and thank you to all the Adafruit staff and everyone. I like that I can look back and I know I shipped a big chunk of orders when I was doing shipping.
Yeah.
So a big chunk of those.
You did shipping. I did shipping.
Yeah, you did. You made all the kits. And
I did QAing for quite a bit too.
Yeah, I did the shipping, and lots of other stuff.
We're not so far. We have a big family now. How many people do we have at Adafruit now? Like
right
65?
now, all together, 74.
74 people together.
So
it's a big family.
Once again, thank you so much, everyone out there. So next up, we have some other big news. So last week on Ask an Engineer was the 1 year anniversary of taking a photo. We had a time travel post.
Yeah.
And now this arrived this week. We got the faster one. We told everybody on the show about this before. We got the Samsung 41.
41.
It's just like the 42.
But it's faster, even though the number is less.
Yeah, it's faster.
I don't like that.
No, it's fine.
It's annoying.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And we posted up on the site. We have some photos. This is the actual deal getting done. That's Johnny Nichols. He's at Samsung. He is probably one of the best salespersons and more.
He is a salesman.
And he's fantastic. He really took care of us twice now. And there's Mary. She's director of manufacturing and procurement. And there's Lady Ada. That's a handshake deal, and that's how they do business, folks. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah, we were at Apex when we did this, and what's awesome is so Johnny Nichols. He's like the last salesman. Like he actually says stuff like, "What will it take to close this deal today?" Deal
closing. So
how to close this deal today?
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun, and now we have 2 of them. And so that means we'll be able to do things faster, better, and as always, you can expect some prices to even go lower because we can move faster.
That's right. When our yield goes up, and I have lowered prices on a bunch of things as our yield has gone up. Because sometimes, like if our yield's 70%, that means like 30% of the things that we make, they have to be hand repaired, or like they can't be repaired, they have to be thrown out. So when the yield goes up, I can lower the price because it's like, if we have like 99% working, there's less waste. We pass the savings to you.
Yep. So as we set up our new kind of manufacturing setup, which is I think one of the better ones around, we'll take some more photos, some video, and more. So next up, on newsstands right now, we mentioned this last week, but we actually went to the newsstands and we found this. Lady Ada is in Newsweek on the cover story, Disruptive Women, 13 women founders, entrepreneurs to watch out for. Watch out for in a good way, that is.
Watch out!
Yeah, so this is it. Yeah, so this is it. It's in, we found it in bookstores and in Hudson News.
Hudson News, if you're in New York.
Yeah, and then here's Lady Ada here in print. She's one of many amazing women doing cool stuff in the world.
Okay.
And you're not only a great engineer, but you're a great business person, so cool stuff.
Yes, go team.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you, News. We didn't even know this was going to come out. They just asked us a couple questions.
It was a surprise. They interviewed you, and then they're like, "Oh, by the way, like it's gonna be on the newsstand." It's like, "Whoa, okay."
Yeah, I thought it was just like, oh, they were asking me, like, there's always like makers or like wearables. So I thought it was like going to be a couple quotes.
Twitter interview or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? Okay.
Okay.
So next up, Adafruit Learning System.
Learn.
Yeah, Adafruit Learning System.
We're closing in on 500 tutorials.
We're gonna be there. We're gonna be there
soon.
Yeah.
In a couple weeks.
So first up, I'll go through the first couple here. We have the learning guide versions of the previous episodes of Circuit Playground. So B is for battery. That's now a guide that guides you through with a transcript.
Tutorial, yeah.
And then we also have C is for capacitor, our latest one that has a transcript and has all of the specific things that you need to know about a capacitor. So this is a guide for educators, for workshops, for anyone. And Circuit Playground is our kids show that uses puppets and more to illustrate concepts. We just filmed D is for diode, and we're working on E is for electronics.
Special guest.
Yeah, Amanda Wozniak.
As a diode.
As a diode. Okay. Next up, you had a special update to the PyK. Do you want to talk about what this is?
Yeah, this is a Phil B update. I just sent it to you. Phil B did all the work. We have updated, if you're a Cupcake beta tester, the beta is ending soon. The next batch of kits will probably be release candidate, which will have a custom PCB. Also, we've updated the image. If you're a beta Cupcaker, please download the image and try it out. The image now has, we compiled Advanced MAME 0.94, which is an older version. And for all you MAME cab fans, you know that the older versions are faster. So you can actually play Gauntlet now at full speed. Yes.
Okay.
So all I wanted. And also we added NES emulation support with FCU, which is the name of the emulator. So if you have a horizontal mode Cupcake, you can design either vertical or horizontal. You can play pixel to pixel. Nintendo, it runs at like 100% or really close to
this is
with
really
audio.
Cool.
The nice thing is a lot of games that might be difficult to play with MAME or like weren't like whatever, for some reason they don't emulate well. They're almost always ported to the Nintendo, so like there's a lot of games that you can play on Nintendo. There's a lot of ROMs available, so I'm excited. You can play some classic games, pretty much any game is emulated pretty well under FCEU, and we have a pretty recent version that works very well. So yay, Nintendo and MAME. Let's check it out. Okay,
next up. This one is the guide that goes with the video that we're going to show in a little bit. This is Unlock an Android Phone with a Wearable NFC. Becky, Director of Wearable Electronics, and also host of Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Great video, really cool project. We'll show the video. So
I have not yet. So this is cool. It has a NFC fingernail.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then next up, this is the charger charm, the 3D printed holder for a micro LiPo USB charger from the video I believe we showed last week. And this is if you want to use our little LiPo charger and have a handy way to store it. This is a cute little robot that Noah and Pedro are creative technologists and designers who do 3D printing.
They do a lot of LiPo stuff, so they probably do have to have like a keychain charm LiPo charger.
Okay. Next up, Time Travel Tuesday. Every Tuesday we have a ton of things from Maker Past. Those who repeat Maker Past are doomed to repeat Maker Future. No. Yeah, I picked out one because I thought it was neat. This is the, let's see, you can count the number of years, but in 1958, around this time, in May, the trademark for Velcro is registered. The hook and loop fastener was conceived in 1941 by Swiss engineer George de Mestral, who lived in Comminges, Switzerland. And he took a close look at the seeds that kept sticking to his clothes. He examined under a microscope and thought, hey, this is something that I can make. And that's where Velcro came from.
Hook and loop tape.
Yeah, and it's interesting that that's when the trademark was registered. And now, I believe it's probably generic, right? Like.
No, Velcro is not genericized.
It's not?
No, because it's called hook and loop tape. Velcro's
really?
pretty good about telling people, hey, don't call it Velcro unless it's actually Velcro. But
other things have gone into.
You can get hook and loop.
Yeah.
I mean, like people do say Velcro, but they've defended it.
Yeah.
It's not like Kleenex, which kind of.
It just went away.
It kind of they lost a little bit, but Velcro definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Because I buy hook and loop, and they say don't say Velcro. They say very specifically like it's hook and loop. Velcro.
They have to talk about Velcro so much that they're just talking about Velcro.
Velcro the name just stuck.
Yeah. All right. Next up, So Wearable electronics, a couple cool things. First up, a little special shout out and thanks to Mike Rella, who's writing the Getting Started with Trinket book. He also helped us with the signed drivers for Windows 8. Lady, why is this a big deal?
Because Windows 8 sucks.
Oh.
No, Windows 8 has a very strict driver signing requirements. XP basically had no driver signing requirements. Windows 7 warned you if you didn't have a signed driver, and Windows 8 pretty much requires it. And so we purchased a certificate. Thanks for your orders, which helped fund the many $1,000 certificates required.
How much was the certificate?
It was like $3,000 or $4,000, or something ridiculous.
To sign
Yeah,
drivers.
I mean, you could sign as many drivers as you want, but like, come on. Anyways, so we paid for this long number.
Yeah.
And it was a couple $1,000s, and it's also a pain in the ass. But luckily, Barella is really great at it and has helped us a lot, because I looked at it and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. You need all sorts of like Microsoft dev tools. And we signed the USB Teeny driver, which is used by Trinket and Gemma, and USB Teeny. And then we also signed the Flora driver, even though it is a CDC standard USB like generic device, you still need to sign the INF file. Even the driver's built into, there's no driver actually, the driver's built into Windows. We still have to sign the VID driver. I
guess this is a good idea because PCs are a big target, but on the other hand, this seems like it's a little complicated.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure exactly what they're fighting against because I don't know of any driver. I mean, I don't know, because the thing is there's so many old drivers that people are still using in industry, so it's like a lot of old and low-cost devices are not going to get signed Windows 8 drivers. So I don't know what the future is.
But I don't think it's going to happen either.
We did, and I think those are the only drivers that we have. The USB Teeny and Flora are the only ones. Anything going forward, we will also be able to sign with Windows 8 drivers, so yay.
Okay.
Please try these drivers out. I think they work fine. More beta testing is good.
This is a shot from the video that we're about to show. This is the unlock your phone with a ring or a fingernail NFC from Becky.
Thumbnail sized.
So I'm going to...
And Becky doesn't have big fingernails either, so...
Yeah, no, this was very intricate, delicate work. So let's roll the video.
A lot of new phones come equipped with NFC, or near-field communication. You can use it for cashless payment, or for swapping contact info, and even to automate actions on your phone. NFC tags are easy to come by and are available in a lot of different packages. We carry several in the Adafruit shop to go with our NFC Arduino Shield and Breakout. So today we're experimenting with NFC on the hand, specifically to try to unlock my Android phone just by picking it up. The simplest RFID ring we came up with is just a cheapo adjustable ring base like you'd find in a vending machine, and this black tag came out of our NFC wristband. We just glued it on. Back in 2008, I experimented with embedding a glass tag in a ring made out of resin, and then we saw this NFC ring online where Joe Faber rewound the antenna coil to wrap around his finger. Very cool. We tried dissolving a bigger tag in acetone to reveal its antenna and chip, just like we did to that Boston Charlie card a while back. Rewinding the antenna into a different shape can affect the tag's range and readability, so your mileage may vary. But we did whip up these 3D printed rings with a channel for the antenna if you want to try it out. The most fun experiment was shellacking a tag into my nail polish. I got the idea from Katya Vega, whose work is super cool, and you can check it out at a link in the description. I carefully cut this tag until the circuit could be delaminated and gave it a slight curve. Then I soaked off the gel polish on my thumb as normal before sticking the tag to the new base coat. Then I followed up with several coats of the UV cured top coat and got to scanning. I love the idea of stashing NFC tags with my nail polish, and as far as security goes, it's a lot harder to steal or lose a fingernail than it is a piece of jewelry. The idea on the phone end of things is to have it pull for NFC when the screen is on but the phone is still locked, which requires rooting and modding your Android installation. I documented the process for my Nexus 4 on the full tutorial for this project on the Adafruit Learning System. Previously, I needed 2 hands to unlock my phone, since it's too big to hold and use the touchscreen with just one. Now I can just pick up my phone and press one button to turn on the screen, and it automatically unlocks after reading the NFC tag I've specified. This ring and manicure have me jazzed to try out all kinds of NFC projects, and the Tasker app for Android makes it super easy to customize almost any phone behavior you can think of. I'd really love to see what RFID and NFC projects you're working on, so be sure to stop by our weekly show and tell on Google+. If you've got wearables questions, post them up in the comments, and I'll answer them every week on our live show, Wearable Electronics, with me, Becky Stern.
Okie dokie, and we're on to 3D printing. So,
Okay.
Big news right before the show started, but we're going to get to that in a minute. First up, if you ever wanted to learn a little bit about designing stuff for 3D printing, Noah and Pedro are starting a series on 3D Thursday. All the things that go on 3D Thursday. Matt has a ton of great posts. Noah and Pedro have a ton of great posts. This is a tip, and this is designing mounting plates for PCBs. So you can print your own little mounting plate on a 3D printer. They show you how step by step. Very cool.
I try to add mounting holes to basically every PCB that we make has at least 2.
You do that.
So, I mean, this is like a big thing. I actually, like, K-Town kind of, like, introduced me to this. He's like, you got it. And I'm like, and then I do. And nobody's ever said, like, oh, your boards are too big. So that's, you know, it's working out. So I add 2 or 4 mounting holes. So, yeah, so it should be easy to add 3D printing cases.
Think of the value and the emptiness in the hole.
It's true. Sometimes it's in the negative space. The emptiness of the PCB is more important than the
empty
PCB.
space between the spokes make the bicycle work. The empty space in the mounting holes make the PCBs work.
You should put that in the quotes for the inner-voice.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good enough quote? I don't know. I don't think so.
Pretty zen.
All right. Next up, this was kind of live from MakerCon. This is the new, this is from the slide, and then this is a rendering, I believe.
It looks like a flan.
Yeah, or it's a photo. I don't know. This is the new Autodesk 3D printer. Not a surprise. I mean, a long time ago when Autodesk bought Instructables, I'd written an article on Make about what might happen next.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to buy MakerBot, and they probably courted them, or maybe maybe something was going on, but who knows? But they have all the tools, and I think eventually it made sense.
That they didn't buy. It's a DLP printer.
Maybe.
So it's similar. No, yeah, it's a DLP printer.
Well, I mean, they're also making open source software. This is another piece of it, by the way.
No, I agree, but it's interesting that they didn't buy Formlabs either. They actually went on their own thing. I don't think this is a Formlabs thing. It looks like it's their own deal, but they went with a DLP printer. So it's interesting. Yeah. So this it has resin and it pulls out the design.
Yeah. And this just happened like a few minutes ago, right before
we don't
the
know
show.
anything really.
The interesting thing about this, they're launching with openness as a key part of it. So they're going to do open designs and then open software to run these things. And
with like APIs, it's going to be it's not going to be open source hardware, right?
Well, a little unknown. It looks like parts of it might be, or maybe even some of it at some point. So it's kind of interesting that Autodesk they could have just said, "Oh, here's our 3D printer," just like a Cube. You know, they have one, just like MakerBot has one, and just like other out there. I think that's interesting that they value open enough, and I believe, this is just my guess, that it's because they bought Instructables and that DNA from Instructables came in and said, hey, if you make this this open, you're going to get more improvements, more things from the community, more value, and in the end, Autodesk is smart because they'll make this always work with the software. That's where
they care.
It's actually where the money is. I think
Autodesk is a software company, so this is. I mean, I'm sure they do hardware once in a while when it makes sense, but to them, it could be that if this is a way to get people to use their software, then maybe having it cloned would be like the best thing for them. If they can come up with a good standard, and then every 3D printer uses that for like the printer drivers, communication, or like the slicing or whatever, they can get in and like own that market.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting. I like that they came out swinging with open. And we have an open source 3D printer we're going to talk about in just a minute.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe open is going to be the new thing that makes people buy one 3D printer over another. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm excited to see what happens with this. Yes, it's just announced, but we'll see what the specs are and the news and when it comes out.
Yeah. Let's see. Next up.
Okay.
Raspberry Pi news.
Bye-bye. I'm
just going to go through these quick because we've got to get to new products. But first one, it's been done. Doom is finally on the Raspberry Pi. Using a Raspberry Pi TFT, you can run Doom.
Oh, it's running with an X.
Yeah.
Not SDL. Okay.
Yeah. Not too shabby. Next up, someone made a Bitcoin wallet using a Raspberry Pi. And if you want to keep your Bitcoin in cold storage, make sure do not plug in the Raspberry Pi. Cool article. You can learn how to do it. If you want to store your Bitcoin safely, you can do it on a Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
Next up. You contributed to an article, Raspberry Pi versus Arduino, which one is the right DIY platform for you? And And I thought this was neat. They interviewed you for this. And what's the
that's right. I remember.
Yeah.
I'm like, did I interview? I'm like, that's right. A couple weeks ago, I answered questions.
So I liked what you said. Like basically, like they're both great.
Yeah.
And depending on what you want to do, you should decide.
Yeah.
So what's the what's the if then for this? Like, if you want to do X, then you should get a Pi. If you want to do this, then you should get a Arduino.
So they're actually different. I mean, there's something that they can both do, but they have only a little bit of overlap. My personal view is the Arduino I think of as a real-time processor with analog inputs. And because it's real time, it can interface with just about anything that isn't high speed. Like it can't do like video card stuff, and it can't do like real time camera, and real time audio is a little tough. But like any kind of sensors, like one wire or I2C or SPI or like Manchester coding, like the NeoPixel uses or whatever, all that stuff, it's like super easy. PWM, servos, whatever. That's all easy for it. Analog inputs, resistive or capacitive sensors, all that good stuff it can do. The Raspberry Pi suffers from not having analog inputs. It's fine. It's not. It has Linux instead. So like if you want to have something with like Wi-Fi and like hardcore graphics or video and animation, the Raspberry Pi is really good for that because that's like Linux and it's all in one. If you want something that's low power and can interface with a wide range of different kinds of sensors, like a piezo sensor, or you want to PWM LEDs very precisely. And also, what's nice is that it's burned in the firmware. Raspberry Pi, it can corrupt itself. Like you can actually damage it if you turn it off and on, and it doesn't have the right amount of power. The Arduino is much more robust. As a brownout detect, you can kind of start it up and turn it off whenever you want. So it's actually better for beginners, in my opinion, to go with an Arduino, just because once it works, it's kind of like set in stone working. Whereas a Raspberry Pi, there's so much complexity, which gives you power, but also can make it unstable.
Yeah. And then something like the BeagleBone would be a choice if you wanted like a combination of the two almost?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a combination of the two, but it's also even more powerful than the Raspberry Pi. So the BeagleBone is, I think, kind of more for like people who are like, well, they know Arduino, they know Raspberry Pi, but they actually want the best of both worlds, and they're willing to put in the effort. Because the BeagleBone Black takes a little bit more work, in my opinion, to get going. They're changing things around. Now it's Debian, and it used to be Angstrom. Debian's, I think, going to be a little bit more stable. But, for example, if you wanted, it does have analog inputs, but if you want to do real-time stuff, you might have to use the programmable units inside of it, which might require some assembly work. Yeah. There's a little bit more effort involved. We'll see the tray kind of is a combination of BeagleBone Black and Arduino, so I think that's going to be powerful, and there's a beta period going on right now.
It actually is. There's that picture of one. There's that picture of an Arduino on a...
It's kind of freaking huge, but so that's kind of my view. You can read the article.
I'll tell you what, I personally like the low-cost microcontrollers, like the Trinket and the Gemma, because it means that you can just take your project and it's not like, oh man, I really can't leave this because it's like $55.
Yeah.
You could just, it's like, it's only a few dollars and you got a full microcontroller and you can do a lot of stuff with it. I actually like the constraints that low-cost microcontrollers give you. Anyways.
Yeah.
So.
I think that actually is a whole other market, I think, is the ultra low cost.
Yeah.
Whatever. They didn't ask me about Trinket.
They didn't ask me about Trinket. One day they will. One day I can't wait till they say Trinket or Gemma. Which one? Which one, Lady Ada? Which one? All right. So we're going to do new products before we do new products.
Okay, we have a huge number of new products.
Gakken's a code, 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up till midnight. Don't forget. Do it, do it, do it. Lady Ada, it's new product time.
I know.
Buckle up. Everyone get ready. There's going to be some fast talking.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to start off with this.
Speed round it.
We've got the Taz 4. This is the only FSF certified 3D printer in the world. It is
super open hardware.
It does. This is so this is hardcore open.
This is Stalin's open source 3D printer.
Yeah.
Okay?
This is the one that like
Mako Hill is like making Makos with his 3D printer.
If Bunny were gonna get a 3D printer, in addition to the ones that he advises on the companies like Formlabs and MakerBot, he would get this one.
Yeah.
Because it's like people that are really into openness. This is the printer they gravitate towards. So.
Yeah.
This is the open source 3D printer. It's the
TazBot
3. No,
4.
Taz 4.
Sorry, retired.
Yeah. Couple things. They did a new drive rod system for better print quality. The Y-axis mounts makes it easier to set up, and it's upgraded to a 400-watt power adapter. The extruder fan now comes standard with the Taz 4. And so far, so good. We've sold out of these each time. So tonight, it's a good deal because you get 10% off.
Free shipping.
If you're in the U.S., continental U.S., you get free shipping.
You get a free perma-proto.
And you get a free perma-proto.
Good deal.
So if you're sitting on the fence, now's a really good time. And you know how we feel
nice,
about
like
it.
Enclosed. It's like super pro looking.
If you're going to invest in a 3D printer, you probably want to consider one that you can always own.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny that there is a little bit of a joke that I heard right away when Autodesk got a 3D printer. They said, "Oh, great, here comes DRM for 3D printers," because Autodesk was known for the AutoCAD.
They came up with it.
They came up with some
things. They invented it.
Yeah, and I think they've worked really hard to move more into the open side. But if you're concerned about that, you know, Firefox just announced that they have DRM in the browser now. They kept it out, and now they're adding it in. So if you're concerned about 3D printing, you can vote with your dollars, as they say.
Can people recompile Firefox to take up the DRM?
I'm sure that's probably part of it, but just adding it in, like the average user is not going to do it.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So okay, so that's it. Next up, Lady Ada. I'm just going to go through these as we.
Okay, we have these are cylindrical lithium-ion batteries. I don't think I'm going to demo it because I think it's pretty clear. We have these also in packs of 2 and 3 to make 4,400 and 6,600 milliamp hours. But this is the single one, which is actually kind of nice and slim. You know, it's cylindrical and round, and it's bigger than a AA battery, but it's not like crazy bigger than AA battery. So for some projects, we have a li-poly battery that's about the same, but it's flat and thin. This is lithium ion, so it's a hard case, so it's a little bit more durable. And if you're making like something that's thin and like long, this might be a really good battery for it. So check it out. You can charge it with any of our chargers. Actually, personally, I use this size battery for a lot of my stuff because it's just like, it's kind of durable. So like sometimes like I you know, whack it by accident. It's like okay because it's like it's a metal enclosed battery instead of the more delicate lithium polymers.
Okay, and so I'm going to go through some of these Gakken kits. So this is the clock kit.
Yeah.
And what we did is
let me hold up.
We got a ton of these in, and then we started taking photos. And so even if we went over these like last week, now we have the assembled.
We only had, we didn't have all of them. So this is a little Edo era clock. So if you're, there's actually, I think this clock actually even, this type of clock appears in Lone Wolf and Cub. So like, that's why I was like, it looks really familiar. So you can have like a classic stock clock, and it's a mechanical clock, and you wind it. It's a spring wound. And it has escapements that kind of go back and forth. They're called foliates. I'm not actually sure. I didn't read the Wikipedia page, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, it keeps track of like time and such, and it's kind of beautiful. And actually, it's made out of plastic, but it kind of looks a little bit like wood. So from far away.
So the thing about Gakken kits, we actually went there, the Gata and I, and we met everyone at Gakken a long time ago in Japan, and they care so much about these kits. They've been doing this for 50 years, and they're beautiful and they're fun to make, and they're completely different than just electronics.
Yeah, they have electronic components, but also a lot of them require no soldering. They are often like you just put it together. It's mostly mechanical work. For most of these, I don't remember which ones we have the English manuals for, but if we do have English manuals, it's a PDF download. But you know what? Like if you're an adult, you can often kind of figure out what the instructions are telling. There's photos, even if it's in Japanese, and if you are wanting to practice your kana and kanji, this is a really good opportunity as well. Because these are designed for like grade school kids, Japanese grade school kids, but still grade school kids.
Yeah.
All right. So
if they can do it, you can do it.
This is the Edo era clock.
Next, this one, and we have some videos of some of these products coming soon. But right now we have some stills. This is the Theremin.
Yeah.
And
this one I'm going to be awful in demo.
Yeah.
This is their most popular one. They said they sold like 100,000 of these kits.
Yeah.
So it sounds terrible because it's a Themin.
Well, we had this going for about 45 minutes while we were doing filming.
Yeah.
Because everyone here is really intense and they want to get like the perfect shots.
Yeah.
And so it just took like a long time, and
There's
it's amazing. This is a great thing to give to a young kid.
They love annoying stuff. It's like a Dradio, but it's like you don't have to touch it.
All right, so
well, it's moving back and forth. So
that's fun.
You're a Theremin pro. So yeah, you can build your own Theremin, and it comes in this cute little case. And I think it even has like an audio out if you want to.
Next
Anyways,
up, we're gonna keep moving.
Okay.
This is really neat. This is you make your own electric guitar.
Oh yeah, the guitar. Let me grab that.
Yeah.
And it uses like standard guitar strings too, so you can, if you break a string, it's not a big deal. This is the nicest one by far, in my opinion.
This is one of the coolest ones. So.
And it has a 1/4-inch jack output. So if you have a guitar amp, you can actually plug in the guitar amp.
Yeah. Can you believe these are kits? Like, oh, look at you, lady. Look at you.
I can't play. It's not in tune. But you can tune it. There's a little tuning knob at the bottom. And yeah, it's like a 4-string electric guitar bass thing.
Okay. Next up, this is a beautiful lamp.
Oh,
I'm going to show the photos first as you get it ready. And a lot of these things look like from the prop department from Logan's Run. They're really cool.
Okay, hold on, this one. Oh, this one doesn't have batteries in it, but
we took the batteries out.
It's an origami lamp, and it's LED.
It's like the thing from Tron. Ready? Yes, 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 yes. No, 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 no.
It has RGB LEDs inside, and you can use the little knobs at the bottom to change the color. I think we have a video or photo of it showing off the different colors and effects. But it's you fold the paper up to make the lamp, and it's called a kari origami. And they worked with I guess a well-known Japanese origami master to design a lamp that you can make. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
And then if you're like an Arduino or electronics person, you could stick a Gemma and NeoPixel thing in there if you wanted to be really bright.
Yeah, one of the things that we're going to do is...
Oh, wait, sorry.
One of the things we're going to do is try to encourage... I would have to turn off the lights.
Yeah, you can't really see it. It's really lit in here. All right.
I'm going to try to do like Adafruit plus Gakken kind of hackathon where
What's the next item?
The next item up, Lady Ada, is the Edison...
wax candle?
This is neat.
Okay. Oh, I have this up here.
Yeah.
So if you remember, like people talk about like wax cylinder recordings. Like sometimes we manage to find a new wax cylinder recording and whatever, and you can play it, and it's like some really old music. So this is a duplicate of that machine that Edison designed. It's also battery powered, and you can record and then play back on a candlestick. It uses a candlestick as a wax rod.
Yeah.
And so there's a little motor, and it makes it go. It makes it go slowly down as it records, and you speak really loud, and the vibrations of your voice make the needle cut into
you're basically making your own record, sort of.
You're making your own record, but it's cylindrical, not polar.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What a cool thing, by the way, if you're a parent or if you have a young person, they can kind of learn all of the
This is like science history,
They can learn all the discoveries in science through a series of kits that they build, and when they're done, they have a whole shelf full of things.
And then, of course, you can play back. And if you look on the internet, there's a video of Phil and I going to Gakken and singing "Hey Jude" into one of these and playing it back. But I don't remember the URL. I couldn't find it. It's like somewhere in the depth of YouTube.
Next up, this is a desktop cleaning robot.
Yeah.
And we have a photo. And I think you could just hold it up if you want.
I was going to hold it up because we don't have time to demo it on this table. I have to adjust it. But it's a little, it's not like a Roomba. It's not as smart, but it's clearly inspired by the Roomba vacuum. And it talks about how robot vacuums work. But it's a little desk size. And what it does is it just uses a bump sensor. So it vacuums up as a little vacuum pump inside, or a vacuuming, I don't know the word. Anyways, and a little brush to pick up dirt. And it can just clean off a table. So it's a little mini robot vacuum, but it's also like a little robot that you could probably, if you want to modify it, add like an Arduino or again a Trinket or Gemma, and then there's a little bump sensor, so it'll move.
This one is also known as MOSFET's worst nightmare, so we're gonna have to see how he likes this later. Okay, next up we have. So this is this little engine. It's a little Stirling engine. The little Stirling engine is really cute. We're not going to light it up and turn it on.
No, I'm not light up.
But what you do is you heat it up, and it does what you expect. It's a little engine.
Yeah, it's a little steam engine, and the way it works is there's a little area down here, and I guess it comes with some candle or something. So the candle goes in this little metal tube, and it heats up the water in here, and by heating it up, it expands. And that expansion drives, also has like an escapement over here, a steam engine, so it rotates back and forth as the air goes in, heats up, expands, goes to the engine, and then cools down and then contracts. So it's basically like your basic two-stroke steam engine device. Can't really drive anything. It's a little bit too small to do that, but it does demonstrate how steam power can be used to like build locomotives. If you had a really big one of these and some wheels.
Yeah. Okay. Next up. Ready?
Yeah. Wait, that's all the. We got through all the Gakken?
We got through all the. We have more next week.
Oh, we're going to split up in half. Okay. No, I'm like, wait,
we're on a journey.
Okay, we're on a journey
together. So this is the hot air rework station.
Yes.
We're going to go 10 minutes over, so it's okay. You can take your time, Lady Ada. So this is the hot air rework station.
Okay.
I know for a fact that there's a lot of crappy ones out there.
Yeah.
And we have a box full of ones that we would never sell. And we eventually found one that meets your standards. And we waited a long time. We've been at this for years, and you found this one, and this is the one that you like the most for this price.
They have a U.S. distributorship, so it's like, you know, it's an American company. And they're not made in the U.S., but you know, they're really popular in Asia. But they do distribute in the U.S., which I kind of like. So they're used by, you know, people all over the world. Another thing that's really nice is that the cost is pretty reasonable. You know, we have hot air stations from Hacko and Weller, and they're really, really excellent. They're like totally awesome quality. But they're also like a couple $100s. They're like $500 or more. And what I like about this is it's like a $100 hot air station, but it comes with nozzles. Maybe you can just show a photo of the nozzles.
Do you want me to
just
show the photos?
Yeah, there's a photo of the nozzles. So there's nozzles, different sizes that comes with it. It has air adjust, heat adjust. It has a feedback loop system. And a digital output that tells you the temperature, which I think is really, really handy. So you can turn it to exactly the right temperature. You can also select a nozzle that matches the kind of rework you're doing to pick the biggest nozzle you can get away with without damaging circuitry around you. And I thought I would try to do some live hot air.
And you can use this for surface mount?
Yeah, this is this is great for surface mount because it allows you to add or remove chips without damaging the PCB underneath, and that's very, very hard to do without hot air.
Let's.
So I have a hot air station, and what you want to do for most hot air is you actually want to keep the air a little low, and get the temperature up to like 250-ish or so, and maybe you can zoom in. Okay. No, it actually was pretty good before.
Like that?
Yeah, I think it's good. So you can see here I've got the nozzle. Wow, this is upside down, it's a little confusing. So I've got the nozzle here, and I'm going to try to do some live hot air rework. So let's say I want to remove this crystal. So what I do is I bathe the area in hot air. Actually, I'm going to twist this so I can see what I'm doing better. Hold on. Okay, yeah, there you go. So you kind of bathe the area in hot air, and it actually takes a couple seconds. It can take up to a minute. And then I like to kind of poke it a little bit with, don't yank on the component. Just give it a little bit of a pull every once in a while. Just the temperature up a little bit. And then if you're patient, this is actually a little bit of a patience game. You'll eventually see the fillets get shiny as they start to melt. And then maybe you can entertain the crowd while I'm waiting for this to heat up.
Okay. Well, I actually don't really have anything to say, Lady Ada. I mean, like, you're the entertainment. I just operate the equipment here.
Okay, so now you can see it's moving, and I can lift it up and remove the component. And so, yeah, I've removed this.
What type of tweezers do you use for that?
Oh, I just use, like, standard ESD tweezers.
Those are ones we have in the store?
Yeah, these are the ones we have in the store.
I like how you have everything in the store to do all the stuff.
Yeah. Here you go. You can see it a lot better. And then you can also replace parts. This is a little tougher if you don't have a lot of, usually I put paste down, but you can also put a component down and then heat up around it again. And the nice thing about this is when you use hot air, it doesn't damage the component as long as you're like pretty fast.
Yeah.
You can use hot air and place and replace components a couple times very safely. So, yeah. Hold on. Let me give it another. Get this centered. And we actually even have a tutorial that I wrote a while ago about hot air rework with how to do QFNs and such with hot air. So once it's in place, give it a second to cool off. I usually turn this off
Okay.
to keep it from getting too hot. Hold on, put it down. And then, yeah, now it's in place.
Okay, wow, you did it.
So you can add and remove components.
First time live on the internet someone doing this, I believe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Live hotter. You could remove, you can remove plastic components. I could remove any of these parts. I could even remove the chip. I don't want you guys to have to wait around for like 2 minutes while I like slowly heat up the area. Because the idea is you want to heat up the area kind of evenly, and then the chip itself nice and hot, because you have to get all the pins hot at the same time.
Okay.
So take 2 minutes, and you can remove a chip.
Why is this one better than some of the crappy ones that we decided not to even dare to put
What I like about this is it's not too loud. A lot of them are really loud.
Yeah.
It's actually you can barely even hear it. It's quiet.
Yeah.
It gets hot fast. The construction's really good. There's like I like the way there's strain relief on things. It comes with a bunch of different nozzles. The feedback temperature with the digital LED readout is really, really nice. I actually just used it for like a week, and it was pretty comparable to the really high-end ones. You know,
Really?
I mean, like some of the higher-end ones have a little more digital nozzles. You maybe digitally set the temperature, but you know, if you're okay with just checking the temperature on the readout and adjusting it as necessary, this is a pretty excellent hot air gun. So it's what we're using in Rework right now.
Okay.
So I bought one for myself, and then I liked it, and then we got 10 for the store.
Okay. Next up, Lady Ada, we have.
Okay.
Last week we had the smaller ones. These are 20 millimeter. Last week we had 12 millimeter.
We had the 12 millimeter coin cells, and now we have the 20 millimeter.
And you did the same thing. I like your style. What you did is you're like, okay, here's one without a switch.
Yep.
Right. This is not the switch. Maybe you don't need a switch. And then let me give you some header. And then you have one with a switch.
Yeah.
So this is the 20 millimeter one
with and
without switches.
Yeah, this is for
understand
coin cell.
that.
We're doing like Bluetooth Low Energy stuff, and to test their Bluetooth Low Energy, we're actually powering it up for coin cells. The problem is it's actually kind of like a pain to breadboard coin cells. So this is actually what it allows us to do tests, like how much current, how long will it last on a coin cell holder, and without having to like solder to like free wire one of those coin cell holders. This way, just like it's on a breadboard and it's nice and easy, and there's an on-off switch so you can use, and just handy if you're doing any kind of low power stuff.
Okay.
Coin cells.
And we'll go through these pretty quick.
Ceramic oscillators, we have them very often used for microcontroller clocking. We have 8, 12, and 16 megahertz, which is what we use for like all of our kits and such. Yeah. They're not as precise as crystals, but you know, unless you're doing like precision timekeeping stuff, these are probably fine. If you're doing precision timekeeping stuff, you'll probably want like a temperature compensated oscillator anyways. And you know, if you're going that direction, then like, you know, that's something, you'll probably want a separate chip that just does that. Like a real-time clock that's temperature compensated. But for clocking, DIY Arduinos, DIY microcontroller, all that stuff, like this is what we use, and they're like 0.5% precise. Perfectly good for most uses. And then they built in capacitors. How handy is that? And breadboard friendly.
Next up.
I like it.
Get us out of here for a second. What is this, Lady Ada? This looks like some type of level shifter type thing.
It says level shifter. It's a level shifter. It's a bidirectional level shifter based on the TXB0104. We already have the TXB0108 in the store, but some people are like, well, I don't need all 8 and I want it to be cheaper. And I'm like, okay, fine. So we grabbed a version of the chip that is half as many. It's 4 channels. And this is kind of cute because it does full bidirectional and detection. It's for logic chips, though. It's not for like capacitive loads, which can cause it to be unstable, or if you want to like drive an LED. It doesn't do that. It's basically for like, I've got some 1.8 volt sensor, and I want to talk to, you know, it's digital, like SPI or something, or serial, and you want it to talk to a 5 volt micro or 3 volt micro. This is a great level shifter that kind of handles the bidirectionalness of it. Only thing to watch for, it's not good for I2C. Only good for like pure like digital, no weird pull-up type communications. Serial, parallel, SPI, that's what this is good for.
Okay. And then last but not least, this
mega cap.
This is a mega cap.
This is like, a super cap.
So this is a giant capacitor.
Yeah, this is from Nippon Chemicon, which make like pretty hardcore super caps. So they actually upgraded this capacitor to 700 farads, and so I guess they had a huge stock of the 630 farads. So we got a whole bunch of these. They're really good capacitors. They're just, you know, why sell the 630s when you can sell the 700s? 630 farads not millifarads, not microfarads, but farads. I think the Earth doesn't even have 630 farads of capacitance, and we calculated that once, and it has like 10 or something. These are 2.5 volt capacitors. They have like 4 milliamp ESR, or milliohm ESR, so watch out. These are very, very low ESR. If you bridge the outputs, they will all discharge at once. All of them, all of the electrons will discharge. No, well, it'll just make a spark, which may be what you want. If you're doing certain kinds of projects, like you want to make your own like welder or like sparker or like, I don't even know, there's like all these projects, sometimes you need like a huge rush of current. This will definitely provide that for you with only like the 4 or whatever milliohms of ESR. However, that also means they're a little bit dangerous, so watch out. You know, I mean, if you're careful, shouldn't be a problem. But if you're not sure that you know what you're doing, these are not for you. This is a lot. I mean, I don't know how exactly you could hurt yourself, but I'm sure you could figure out how to hurt yourself by discharging all this current into something. It could, you know, spark a fire or something if you have paper nearby. Anyways, mega caps. So yeah, this is pretty cool. We have even linked to a little tutorial on calculating, you know, how much current you can draw before the voltage drops a certain amount. They're screw type. We have a data sheet for the same version. You know, this is, there's I can see a couple projects now with these kinds of big super caps. You can charge them really fast too. I charge this one at 5 amps. My power supply wouldn't do more than 5 amps, but you can charge it for 5 amps. Takes like 10 minutes or something, and see if you can have an LED lit up. You can barely even see it.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want a super cap, it's super.
Okay. And
long-term real-time clock.
And last but not least, BeagleBone Black, Rev C. We have them. I believe we have them first, and they're all gone now. One note about this, we noticed on the box, and Lady Ada will talk about this in a little bit. It says it comes with Angstrom and actually comes with Debian. We tested this to make sure. We also let TI and Circuit Code know, but that's a big change. They're moving towards Debian. This has 4 GB verse 2, which is the
onboard MMC.
Yeah,
so that's a little Kingston thing down there in the corner.
Yeah,
it still has it's pin compatible. Has everything that the BeagleBone Rev B had. They probably fixed a couple traces if they wanted to move stuff around, but it's pin to pin compatible, same size, same functionality, but it boots into Debian. We tested it with our displays, works really great. Still has HDMI, USB, micro, whatever, all that good stuff. It's basically more, 4 gig instead of 2 gig, and accordingly the price also went up. So it's now $55 instead of $45.
That's right.
This should also help maintain, because of the price of MMC fluctuates, this gives them a little bit of buffer as well when the price goes. Sometimes it doesn't go down, by the way. MMC cards
and this
can
is
go
the
up.
same size as the other one, right?
It's physically identical, as far as I can tell. I compared them, and you know, if you have detailed questions, of course, you should post in the Google group. But as far as I can tell, it is the chip is the only thing. The MMC and software that comes with it is the only thing that has been updated.
Okay.
Debian.
And with that, Lady Ada is new products.
Okay. I only went like 5 minutes over.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Just a quick programming note. You have a
Gakken.
couple more hours. That's the code. Gakken 10% off. Everything in stock until 11:59 Eastern Standard Time tonight. Bitcoins are still accepted here. The free deals, over 200, you get free UPS ground. Over 100, Permaproto. If you're looking for a 3D printer, this is probably the only way to get this one 10% off is on our show. This hurts us a little bit, especially with the free shipping, but our pain is your pleasure. So go ahead and get a 3D printer if you want to. They'll probably be gone later. These are the Taz bots.
Taz 4,
yeah. You want to kill that light?
Yeah,
okay. We'll do a speed round of some questions real quick because we're going to try. What are some of the things that you can do with that big cap, Lady Ada?
Well, you know, there's some people who like to electrocute pickles and such things. There's a lot of projects that you need a lot of current if you want to show a gigantic spark or something. You need a lot of current. Projects that do tack welding type stuff. That's something that supercaps are used for. You also just use it for as a very rechargeable battery. It's a very small battery, but you can recharge it very fast. So it can stand in for a small nickel metal hydride or lithium ion battery. don't know. It's a kind of cool project. You can have a project that draws a very small amount of current burns for a long time and is recharged by a small solar cell. You can just connect a solar cell directly up to it to recharge it, as long as it's a 2.5 volt.
Here's something about how we do the shows here. What's the difference between the Ustream social stream and chat? I think the social stream just pulls in Twitter stuff, and the chat is actually the real-time chat. Next up, is Adafruit going to carry N-tag NFC tags? MyFair tags aren't compatible with several Android phones.
Yeah. Thanks, Android, for not working with the most popular MyFair tags. Yeah. We'll probably end up getting a couple samples of N tags. All the Androids until recently did work with MyFair, and so that's why we carried MyFair. And then, of course, they decided no longer to work with MyFair because of a fight. And so I believe that the PN532 should work with the new N tags because it's NFC compatible. But we have to write a whole bunch of code.
Okay. Next up, are we going to be at Maker Faire? No, we just got a bunch of new equipment. And last year we were getting new equipment, and this year we're getting new equipment. So that's why we do a live show. We can't seem to leave. Adafruit takes a lot of love and care, so it's hard for us to leave.
Yes.
And we just got the new Samsung. So we're just setting up power. This is the monster. It takes 220 volts.
Cannot run off supercap.
Cannot run off supercap. Next up, can you install the BeagleBone Black Rev C Debian image on a BeagleBone Black Rev B?
I think you can't install it on the MMC because it needs more than 2 gigs, I believe. But you can download the Debian image and put it on an SD card and boot it, which people have done, and that's how they beta tested it.
So is it correct to say that you did say 4 GB of RAM on the BeagleBone Black Flash?
Yeah.
On the Rev
The Rev C has 2 gigs. The Rev B had 2 gigs of flash. The Rev C has 4 gigs of flash on board. So you don't need an SD card. It comes, it's soldered on.
Okay. How can I power an Arduino Uno with a LiPo?
Sometimes you can actually just connect it directly. Otherwise, you can use something like a Minty Boost to boost the 3.7 volts up to 5 volts. People use Minty Boost a lot.
Okay. Best way to wirelessly transmit voice to bone conductor speaker. I'm working on something like a walkie-talkie into a helmet. XB, will XB work?
XB is actually not a good choice for audio. There are little like Bluetooth audio transmitters. Sometimes you can get off-the-shelf little audio transmitters. It's actually not easy. I would try running a wire if possible. If you can't use something like a Bluetooth audio module.
Okay. Someone know any news on Trinket Pro? Yeah, we're working on them. Almost.
I got some Trinket Pro PCBs today, so I have to go through the final testing analysis and then get stencils ordered and components. It might be like a week or 2.
Okay.
Hopefully.
All right.
Unless something goes wrong.
So with that is the speed round of questions. Thank you so much, everyone. Got through this. Here is the time of the evening. We do trivia questions. Okay. Lady Ada, what is the rules for the trivia question?
If you've won something from this fabulous trivia prize, you don't get to win again. Only one winner per lifetime. We will pick the first person who types in the answer correctly with spelling in the chat that we see first. We'll be watching Ustream and YouTube chat. Well, Ustream is usually a little bit faster. But we'll see. That sometimes takes a while for people to get the answer.
Okay. The prize this week is a BeagleBone Black Rev C. These are much sought after.
Very desirable, 4 gig of flash on board, Debian.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, today we had our 500,000th order.
500,000th order.
What state was the order from? It's in the blog post. On the blog right now, all you have to do is type it in. Lady Ada, this is the state.
If you
this
won,
is the state right here.
If you were the 500,000th order, you can enter.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine.
But let's see, which state?
Which state?
Yeah. People are typing in different states. It's not the ones they've typed in so far. We're looking at both. And the winner is Chris 37879 Michigan. Congratulations, Chris.
Michigan.
37879. Email.
Not to be confused with the other 37,878 Chris's.
Congrats, Chris. You got it. Email support@adafruit.com, and you get a BeagleBone Black Rev C. Congratulations. Woo.
Okay.
Who? All right. That is the show this week. Don't forget, everyone, Gakken's the code. Expires tonight at midnight.
Gakken's the code. Gakken's the kit.
Yep.
But we were hot.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody out there, all of the Adafruit remote team members here inside, people who are at home, who work here at Adafruit, also watching the show. Thank you all the customers out there.
All 500,000 of
and
you.
community that's really brought Adafruit to a new place and allowed us to do a lot of stuff. We'll keep doing this if you keep doing your thing out there, folks. Thank you everyone who came to the show and tell. It was a massive night. We're gonna crash out and go to sleep.
Well, we're gonna have dinner first.
Yeah. Tomorrow,
I'm hungry.
if I have to talk to this person and see if it's okay, but we actually have a senator visiting Adafruit. So after this senator shows up, and if they're okay with it, we'll do a post or something like that. But a lot of people are interested in what you're doing, and the manufacturing, and the education, and the open source, and all the cool things you're doing. Okay. And we're going to have them come by. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. So everyone, we will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I hope Batman vs. Superman isn't bad. I hope. Anyways, I'll talk about that later.
Fat man?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like that, I don't know.
Stocky.
Don't ruin Dark Knight. Dark Knight is good. Okay.
But you know what? Somebody made a really good point. The Dark Knight Returns, he's like, he's bulky. He's not like this Christian Bale, like
but he was also
slim.
old, and he should be Clint Eastwood. Anyways, I don't want to talk about it.
It's a big fight.
I don't want to talk about it.
Big discussion here.
All right. Bye, everyone. We'll see you next week. Here's a picture of MOSFET. He's meowing somewhere. Here is your moment of Zener.